What do we have going on? I'm still a little husky, so my current one is I'm getting over a cold. So that it has been a crazy cold and flu season this year, and I managed to yeah, stay very healthy. And then I just got this last cold last week. Okay, Cyan, you are sideways, but I love it. Oh, and Amanda is on. I love it. Okay, well, and Cassie, you're on. So many lovely faces. Okay, well, we're going to get started, everyone. I'm just going to share my slides as we kind of introduce the products that we're talking about tonight. Anyone else want to share kind of what they're dealing with, or what you're most, Cyan, what are you most interested in finding out about tonight? Collagen.
I think for me, just overall energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've got migraines. Okay. Back pain. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Well, I'm going to share my screen here for a minute, just as we introduce what we're talking about. Okay. So, as I was saying before, there's lots of different things that we're dealing with our health. I often find they fall into one of these categories. So gut health, digestion, our focus, our mood, our mental health, our energy, our pain, as well as just overall aging. And for me, when I started with Trinot, I hit all these boxes. These were all things that I was looking to work on, but my number one was energy. I just felt depleted. And this for me was back in August. So I'll just introduce myself for anyone who doesn't know me yet. My name is Benny. I am from Victoria, but I'm actually up in Qualicum right now, which is amazing. Oh, I have someone calling me on Messenger who's supposed to be on tonight. Sorry. So my name is Benny. I'm from Victoria, but I'm up in Qualicum right now. And I have a 7-year-old son. As I was saying, you might hear him yelling in the background. He's playing games with his grandparents. And before I got into direct sales, I was actually in the world of social services, and I love to help people. I've been on my own health journey. I've lost over 70 pounds in the last 3 years. And as I was saying, there's always the next level of health. So this has been my next level of health. And tonight we're going to be talking about Trinot. And in a minute, I'm going to get Jen to introduce herself. And as I was saying, we have all different categories. We have fitness, we have energy and vitality, we have weight management, beauty, and total wellness. So the company we're talking about tonight is Trinot, and it took me a few weeks to even say the name. It actually is a French military word. I see people laughing. I know, I was like, Trinot, a French military term. And it means to change life with stealth. And that is exactly what we are experiencing here, is really high quality impact products. And you're going to get to hear tonight from a few people who have been taking the products and their experiences. So a few of my favorite things about this company in particular and these products is that most of them are raw, whole food ingredients, except for our bovine collagen. And I love that. So something that I've really dove into and started learning about is that not all supplements are the same. And the majority of the supplements on the market are synthetic. So the easiest way to know what a synthetic vitamin is if you have a multivitamin, this was one of them I had at home. I had these sticking around at home, is to look for the vitamin C. And when you look at vitamin C, if it says ascorbic acid, that is a synthetic lab-derived vitamin, whereas ours here in Trinot comes from real whole foods. For example, our Fortify is acerola cherries. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about our collagen. We have proprietary formulas. This means they are patents and they are unique. But the thing is that we've noticed here is they actually work. We use advanced technologies. So as I said, these products are really making an impact for people. We also have third-party validation, which is huge. All these products are tested before they leave, and GMP certification. So on every bottle, there's a stamp, and it stands for good manufacturing practice. So these are very high quality. And my favorite part, and this never gets old, is the tens of thousands of testimonies from people who are using the products and having just amazing results in their life. And I've only been doing this a short period of time, but the amount of friends and family and people that I can see on this screen that are having such an impact on their health has been just, it gives me goosebumps every time. It's amazing. We also have a transparency promise. So this is a promise that our products are really high quality. So this is our sort of never list. You'll never find any artificial colors or flavors, any parabens. Everything is gluten-free, which we love. And yeah, I just love that we have this promise. And then the last thing I'll mention is we have a scientific advisory board. So these are doctors and scientists who are coming up with the best of each category of products that we carry. I'm going to introduce to you guys Jen, if you can introduce who you are and if I've missed anything.
I think you're covering it all here, but my name is Jen, and I am a holistic nutritionist along with a Trinont associate, and I am in love with these products. I've been on the search for products like this for many years, and when I saw the formulations and the technologies being used, my mind was blown, because I was actually ready to like tear it apart and talk real bad about it, because every time someone brings me a new brand to check out and investigate for them, I'm always like, it's bad, it's got this, it's got that. And I was like jaw dropped. I was like, I can't even say anything about these. They are incredible. And so I started looking into the business side of things, because I was like, wow, if this company is producing this type, like high level integral products that are creating such an impact, I want to be part of that. I want to be helping other people discover these products and find the results themselves. So I do a deep dive into supplementation and understand how things are put together and why it helps a person, the mechanics behind it. So I'm here to really kind of share that side of things. As we get talking about the products, I'm going to talk about the mechanisms and the ingredients and why they do what they do and how they're different from something else you may find on the market.
So amazing. And so grateful to have Jen here, as well as so many others that are going to share with us tonight. So we're going to dive right in. And as I said, we have a bunch of products in different categories, and there really is something for everyone. But tonight we're going to go over our 3 favorites, and then you can keep learning about more. So the first one we're going to talk about is our Enrich, and this is our full spectrum, I can't talk right now, full spectrum digestive enzyme. And it has a stabilized pre and probiotics. Sorry, just letting one more person in here. And this was one of the first products that my boyfriend tried, actually, and he had a huge result within just a short week. So one of the things about digestive enzymes is we actually start losing them as we get older. So something I've noticed is the older I get, the more people I know with digestive challenges, let's call them. So I'd love to hear in the comments, what are some of the things that we can deal with in our digestion? Sometimes we have constipation. Sometimes we have IBS. We're getting real personal tonight, you guys. Heartburn was the one that my boyfriend was dealing with on an ongoing basis. And I mean, every night with every single food. I was like, what gives you heartburn? And he was like, this. I was like, I don't think that's normal. and it shouldn't be the normal. And so he started on the digestive enzyme, and we were having dinner one night, and I turned to him and I was like, you haven't talked about heartburn or gone to get, anything after a meal in a week. And he was like, oh my gosh, you're right. And then before he started the enzymes, because we had a friend who shared her experience, he got on the scale. And 2 weeks later, he got on the scale again and he was down 7 pounds. So who doesn't love a byproduct of increased digestion, losing weight, right? So of course, after that, I started taking the digestive enzyme. And for me, what I have noticed is just real full elimination. And I just feel like I am really way less tired. So when you think about what happens after we eat a big meal, anyone on Thanksgiving, we want to take a nap, right? So not only are the digestive enzymes going to help process and absorb the nutrients, but also get rid of anything that we don't need. So I'm going to do a little visual, because who doesn't love a visual? We're going to do a pudding pack. So any food we eat that is cooked or processed, I want to see a show of hands who had cooked or processed food today. Anyone cooked or processed food? Yeah. So any cooked or processed food needs digestive enzymes. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to get someone to come on and share her experience. But I'm just going to show you. So here's the enzyme. I'm just going to tilt my screen a little. So I take 1 or 2 of these before I eat, and I try and do it about 10 minutes before, but sometimes I forget and eat it while I'm having my meal. I'm going to give this a stir. You guys can see how like clumpy and thick this is. And this is an absolute processed food. So this is the perfect demonstration. So we're going to leave this for a minute. And Jen, can you come on and share your experience with the digestive enzyme?
Sure. Thanks, Benny. So I started taking, I have a dairy allergy. And so it has an asthmatic response, and I haven't had it for about 10 years. I didn't have it when I was a child. And so I know what ice cream tastes like. I couldn't have any ice cream or dairy of any kind. If it touched my lips, I'd start to cough like a barking dog. Like anybody with a whooping cough, that would be me. I would have so much trouble breathing. I would be sneezing and coughing and it was terrible. I was on asthma inhalers because the doctors were thinking it was asthma related. But it turns out it was just dairy. And then I tried these digestive enzymes. So I had one at lunch and one at dinner. And then I had a piece of cheesecake, or a taste of a cheesecake. This was my first experience with it. And then, so I had symptoms, but they were delayed an hour when normally they would be right away. And so that was interesting. So I thought, okay, what if I took it as it's prescribed every meal for a few more days and see if I just needed to build up the digestive enzyme, clear out my system, that kind of thing, right? So I did, and then I went to Dairy Queen and had a mini blizzard, and totally blew my mind because I ate the entire blizzard and I had absolutely no symptoms, none, and I couldn't before. And for 10 years, I have been dealing with this, not being able to have dairy of any kind, and so now I can. So I'm very excited for that. So this is a fantastic product in my eyes.
That is amazing. And the first time I heard you share that, my jaw dropped. Just so amazing. Jen, do you want to come on and share a little bit more about how this works?
Yes, absolutely. So the digestive enzymes, there's actually 11 plant-based enzymes. And like Benny said, every time we eat like cooked or processed foods, there's no enzymes in there to help us break it down. And over the years, as we age, we produce less enzymes in our body to be able to break down that food. And what happens when we're not breaking down that food is we have large molecules floating around in our body wreaking havoc. Okay. So if you're not processing your fats, what happens? What happens when you're not processing your sugars? Think any sort of metabolic dysfunction, your insulin resistance, stuff like that. If you are not breaking down your carbohydrates, if you're not breaking down your proteins, you're going to have increased inflammation in the body. So it's really important to be able to access the macro and micronutrients in our food. We cannot access the micro and macronutrients unless our body actually breaks it down to that small molecular structure. And so these enzymes, what they do is they break it down to the smallest molecular structure, so our body has access to those nutrients. Okay, so we need access to the nutrients, but what also happens is because it has a stabilized prebiotic and probiotic, it will actually make it to our digestive system, right into our small intestine, where we need the support to help utilize those nutrients and get that absorption of the nutrients. Okay, what happens is when we maybe we've tried probiotics before. Has anybody had a probiotic before? And was it refrigerated? Why was it refrigerated? Because as soon as it gets warm, it dies off, right? So what happens when we put that in our mouth and into our body? It's heating up, right? Which most of the strains in there are dead by the time it hits our, like where we want it to be absorbed. So we get very small positive effects from those probiotics. So it's important to have a stabilized probiotic so that it actually makes it through our digestive system and into our small intestine, where it's going to actually be able to repopulate our microbiome in our gut. And then those prebiotics are going to feed those probiotics and make it super strong and ready, and get that area ready for being able to absorb those nutrients from our food. But what also happens when it's breaking down those molecules into those like absorbable nutrients, it's also going to help break down the stuff that we want to eliminate out of our body, which Benny talked about, full elimination. So it helps with detoxification on the other end of the spectrum too. So whether you are struggling with breaking down those molecules, because if you have trouble breaking down those foods into the small absorbable molecules, your body will start becoming like sensitive to those things. That's why over time we can become sensitive to certain types of foods, because our body is not recognizing it as a usable form of nutrients, because it's in this big molecule that our body can't absorb. It's too big, right? And so it floats around and causes problems. So that is why it's so important to break down our food. And we think about like over 70% of our immune system lives in our gut. So if we don't have a healthy gut microbiome, we might have some. That's why I include autoimmune conditions in here. Maybe we have IBS. IBS can come on either side. Okay, it can be either side of the spectrum. What this does is evens you out. So whether you're, a little on this side or a little on that side, it's going to help balance you out. And so it helps with so many different things. And like that heartburn, like, wow, how many people do I know that have suffered from heartburn for a long time? Or maybe like as you, I got my mom to try this product because she has been having trouble digesting things as simple as like cucumbers and peppers, like foods that you should not struggle with. There is enzymes in there to break it down, but that's how much her digestive system is struggling. And she told me just the other day that she was able to eat peppers, which she loves cucumbers and peppers. And she was able to eat peppers the other day and not have any stomach problems at all. She was like, I don't know if they're working. I was like, well, have you tried the peppers yet? She goes, yeah, I didn't have a stomach ache after. I'm like, that's it working. So, sometimes we don't realize that we're having results with something. So sometimes you got to talk to someone else about what results you're looking for. So whoever invited you on this call, make sure you share what results you're looking for, because sometimes you need a little reminder of like what it's actually doing.
And what I've noticed as well is sometimes it's your loved ones who notice before you. So I noticed Trent not complaining about heartburn, whereas he noticed other things in me. So sometimes because we're, used to our bodies every day. So while we were talking about that, this enzyme was doing its magic. It is bubbling up here. And it was so perfect. Jen shared about a Dairy Queen blizzard. So let's just imagine this is a blizzard so we can really see it breaking down in your tummy. And you can see that that pudding cup is fully eliminated. Now, I always like to warn people, this is not how it comes out. So as Jen mentioned, you know, from my experience of what people have shared is if, you know, you're dealing with IBS or that kind of situation, you're not going to have that. Whereas if you're somebody who is not regular, you're going to have more regular bowel movements, which is great. And for those of you who have, if you have the digestive enzyme, you have one in your purse. I have one in my car. You have them everywhere. And a little hack that I like to share is if you do have indigestion or heartburn and you forgot to take them or you need immediate relief, you can actually break the capsule over your tongue and it's going to absorb so quickly. I ate a sandwich too fast and I could barely breathe and I put this over my tongue and it was instant. So that's a little hack for you guys. And what I love is this is such a simple thing that you can add in to your life and it can have a real impact on your health and your vitality and energy. So the next one we're going to share about is my favorite, and it's actually why I'm sitting here. I basically was dared to try a bottle of liquid collagen back in the end of August. And I thought, okay, I'll try everything once. So I tried the Glow. And at the time I had plantar fasciitis. It always comes back for me in the summer because I'm wearing flip-flops. And I have had chronic hip pain since my late 20s. And I know I might look young, but I actually am 40. So that's a long time to have chronic hip pain. And within 2 weeks of being on the Glow, I noticed it going away. And I was blown away. So I was like, how do I get more of this? And my mom, I'm at her house now. We have very similar bodies. And she noticed the same thing because I wanted to try it out on some of my friends and family to see if it was just me. The other thing I've really noticed with the Glow is literally I'm glowing. And my hair, after I had my son, who is now 7, so he's not a baby anymore, but my hair stopped growing. It would only like reach a certain length and it was dry and brittle. And as I mentioned, I did release a lot of weight. And what I noticed was it was thin and it was clumping out in the shower. And I actually had a shower today and I noticed like on the wall, there's like 2 strands of hair. And before there would have been clumps of hair. So that is what I noticed with the collagen. And then I started learning like, well, what is it about this one? Because before this one, I was using this one and a variety of different collagens. I've tried probably 4 or 5 in the last 2 or 3 years and no noticeable results. So a few things that are unique about this one is that it is collagen peptides. So that is the smallest molecule. So you're going to have it absorb up to 90%, whereas other collagens maybe 20 to 30%. The other thing I always like to tell people is look at the protein count on your collagen. So this one has 10 grams of protein per serving. It also has a clinical dose of biotin. It also has the beauty aspects. So it has the hyaluronic acid, which before this, I was actually had a bottle and I was slathering it over my face to try and get some results. Didn't work. And it also has an antioxidant blend. So we mentioned before that our products are not synthetic. So this one here, if you notice a lot of other collagens, it will say ascorbic acid. So those are a few of my favorite things. This collagen has 7 patents. So when we say it's unique, we mean it is unique. And I know Sandra's on. Can I put you on the spot and come on and share your experience with collagen?
Hi. Yes, I've been taking the collagen for 2 weeks, and every time I would have to wear shoes in the house. But yesterday was the first day that I didn't have to wear shoes because of the plantar fasciitis.
And how is your back feeling? I know you've been, I've
Yeah.
known Sandra for a while. I've known Sandra for a couple years and I've spent lots of time with her. And it has just broken my heart this past 2 years as I've gotten to know you. When I can see that you're physically in pain when you move, when you go from a chair to standing up. I've watched you be in physical pain. It just breaks my heart every time I would see you over the past couple years. And I was so excited for you to try the collagen. And I remember I called you about 5 days in. Do you remember what you said to me?
I can't remember. No.
You said, today is day one. My back is like not hurting.
Yeah. And like every day it gets better and better and better. Yeah. I'm so happy about that.
Look at her smile, guys. Like, look at her smile. Like, you have no idea. This is the biggest I've seen her, the brightest I've seen her with so much life in her. I told her she's going to just continue improving and we're going to go dancing together.
I love that so much. One of the things that I've heard from several people who have been taking the products is that they feel 10 years younger. And that has been my experience. So who doesn't want to feel younger? Jen, do you want to share a little bit about what makes this unique?
Okay, you touched on a couple of things already. One, the protein, right? Having that extra protein, we need that extra protein. But what's really cool about this, because sometimes our bodies don't digest protein the best as we get older. But because this is a hydrolyzed collagen, and we use the hydrolyzation process that takes fruit enzymes to break it down into the smallest peptides, that as soon as it enters our body, it actually starts to absorb into our body. So it doesn't actually have to go through our digestive processes to break down. It starts absorbing the second it's in our body. That's why we have that high absorption rate. So that is something like that's really, really important, okay, when you're taking a collagen, because if you're going to take something, we want it to do something. I don't want you to wait 90 days to see any sort of results. And again, you might be getting results that you can't see because the inside stuff, right? But, or you might not notice because you look in the mirror every single day. I talked to a friend today that I hadn't seen in a couple of, at least a few weeks. And she's like, I don't know how to say this to you, but like, without like, because she didn't want to be rude, but she like wanted to tell me that my face was looking so much better, but she didn't want to tell me that my face looked so terrible before. I laughed so hard. I'm like, just say it, man. Just say it. I know, I got a mirror. I can see it. So that feels really good. So what that is a reflection of what's happening inside our body. Okay. Our skin is our biggest detoxification organ. And so what's happening on the outside is an indicator of what's happening on the inside. So when our skin is not being held tight and firm and it's not glowing, guess what? The insides are doing the same thing. So why is it important? So one of the things that makes this collagen different is it's a type 1. Okay, type 1 grass-fed bovine collagen. Okay, why do we want type 1? Because over 90% of the collagen in our body is type 1 collagen. We have lots of different kinds of collagen in our body, okay? There's actually like 28 or something like that. But what's really cool is when we have an abundance of type 1 collagen, our body makes all the other collagens. We don't need to supplement with type 2, type 3, type 4, all the things, okay? We just need type 1 collagen. So this is just type 1 collagen. That's what we want. Why do we want it? Why do we need to supplement with it? Well, what are the sources of collagen? Sources of collagen are fish scales, cowhide, cow organ meat, chicken cartilage. Tell me, hands up if you are eating this every day. Right? So why didn't we need to supplement with it when we were a kid? Well, because our body was making it in abundance. Well, now our body, as we age, it starts to reduce the production of collagen. In and around 20, we start losing about 1% of our collagen production. That can increase if you have exposure to sun, if you have exposure to cigarette smoke, if you have exposure to toxins, if maybe you got sick, if you ever had the like stomach flu or anything like that, if you've ever drank alcohol or eaten processed food, that number is going to increase. Okay. So sometimes by the time we're like 40, we are barely, who's over 40? Almost all of us. So by the time we are 40, often we're producing very little collagen. That's why we can literally roll over in bed and hurt ourselves. Anybody? Like, you can do like the slightest little thing and be like, how did I just injure myself doing that? You can cough and injure yourself when you're over 40. Why is that? Because the collagen in our body is being depleted and we're not creating enough to replace it as it depletes. So our collagen is our structural protein in our body. So it is like everything in our body. It's not just our hair, skin, and nails, which we hear all about it in the beauty industry, but you're going to hear more and more about how it is not just that. It is also our gut lining, our bone matrix, our connective tissues, our joints, our eyes, our brains, our liver, everything has collagen and needs collagen. Okay. So we need that for our functionings. There's one more way you can get collagen that you might hear about. It's bone broth. Anybody ever hear about like getting collagen through bone broth? Let me tell you something I just learned today. In order to get enough collagen out of bone broth, you'd have to drink enough to equal your body weight in bone broth daily. Can you imagine drinking over 100 pounds of bone broth a day? You drown. So it's really hard to get enough collagen from bone broth. It's a great little bit to add to your body, but it's not going to provide enough. I would much rather just take my little shot of collagen that's perfectly created. So one of the things is it's the size and weight and the delivery mechanism, all of it is like perfectly synergistically made in this collagen formula for our bodies to actually absorb it, right? So I already said it's absorbable right up front. But then we have the hyaluronic acid to increase what the collagen will do for us. We have the biotin. Biotin, who's heard of biotin? Yeah, beauty industry again, right? So if you see a collagen that is marketing biotin, it's going to have great results. I want you to flip it over and read the ingredients. Remember, ingredients matter, and so do quantities matter, okay? So you can find biotin in some products, but unless it has a minimum of 4,500 micrograms of biotin, it's actually not going to do anything for you. It's strictly there for marketing. Because in order to have an actual result from it, you need a clinical dosage. That clinical dosage is 4,500 micrograms a day. That is exactly the amount in our formula. How cool is that? So the hyaluronic acid, same thing. We have therapeutic dosages in our product. It's a medical grade collagen. And that's why we're seeing such phenomenal results that go way over and above any other collagen product. So other collagen products, you may see results, but you're not going to see significant or as fast results with them. That's the difference. I made some notes because I was listening to a training today on it, and I learned a few other things. So that's super cool. We're always learning together here. But the other thing that Benny had mentioned, the antioxidant formula. Okay, the antioxidant formula, we're not talking synthetics. So when you read through an antioxidant formula, maybe on another brand or whatever, some of them don't even have any antioxidants, which those are going to be the ones that have like 15-20% absorption, because you need to have vitamin C in there to help with the absorption of collagen. And some of them don't even have that, okay? But what you want to look for, again, that vitamin C, if it's in there, if it says ascorbic acid, it's a lab-derived isolate of vitamin C. It's not actually vitamin C. It's just like, and it's like a piece of what vitamin C actually is, okay? So with Trinant's product, it actually, you will see on the label, it has pomegranate, it has Indian gooseberry, it has green tea extract, it has a whole formulation of an antioxidant formula, which is going to help to provide protection for your body at that cellular level. So it's going to correct that oxidative stress that your body is under, and what makes those cells break down faster.
Amazing. And I learn so much every single time, and I love that we're just a community of continual learning. So awesome. We had someone mention about the Optimize, and so we'll just touch on that one. This one is one of my new favorites. This is a proteolytic enzyme. It has turmeric in it as well. It is great for inflammation. And I am very visual, so it's going to act like a Pac-Man on the rogue protein in your body and that inflammation. So as I said, my mom mountain bikes. She's in her 70s and she fell, and I was like, Mom, take the Optimize. And she said yesterday her ankle was so swollen, she couldn't walk, and she was taking the Optimize and the collagen. And today she's hobbling around. So it can work really quickly. It was actually developed for pro athletes to get them back on the field quicker. But guess what? That also goes for the mom who needs to get back to their kids or go back to work early. And then a testimony that I have from this was, I was on a call and we heard of someone who had an allergy, and they loaded on this because, once again, this is all whole foods. So Trent has had a cough for 2 years. And he was taking it daily, but we increased the dosage of it for 1 week, and his cough is gone. 2 years he has had this post-nasal drip cough. He doesn't know if he got it from a sickness or mold in a rental. We don't know, but 1 week of taking it, I believe he was just taking it twice a day. So that one is that. We can get you some more information on it. We'll just touch on that quickly. The other one that we wanted to talk about was our Mojo. So our Mojo is a nootropic. This one is my favorite. It is the Brazilian coffee. So it comes in coffee, chocolate, or it also comes in a fruity. So we have a roasted peach or a lavender vanilla, and it can be made hot or cold. I have replaced my coffee with this. So rather than having coffee in the morning, I have one Mojo. And the thing I have noticed is my energy has gone from a constant 2 or 3, pretty low, to, I would say, a constant 7 or 8. So that means at 8:30 at night, I'm not falling asleep or wishing, or at like 5 o'clock being like, is it bedtime yet? Do I need to go to bed? Anybody else? Okay, this was me in September. So I don't get the crashes that I got with the coffee. And I have heard that from many people. So I have swapped this out. So once again, what I love is these are very simple things that you can change in your life. I have a friend who had a Dr. Pepper a situation in the afternoon every day to get her through the day. And she started with Zest, and she was like, what is happening? I still have energy in the evening. So I'd like to hear from you. Put your hand up if you would like more energy in your life. This one is amazing. And literally, as you could tell, I'm getting over this cold. And I had a Mojo the other day. And if you're sick, like you're usually tired, I was dancing in my kitchen. And I know it sounds crazy, but this is what we're experiencing. Jen, do you want to add anything to that one?
Sure, I sure can. So not only does it increase your energy, it increases your mood. What is the function behind increasing your mood? Is it has green coffee bean extract and L-theanine. L-theanine is an amino acid that is an essential amino acid for our body. And so what happens is when we mix those two ingredients together, there's actually been studies shown that it increases our dopamine and serotonin production, which is our happy hormones. And so it actually increases those hormones. So you actually do actually feel happier. It's like the craziest thing. But what it does is it gives you kind of that sustained happiness and energy, but it also gives you focus. So you can focus on tasks at hand. I feel like I can be more productive when I am drinking it. And again, like the fact that you can like drink one and it lasts all day, it doesn't put you on a cortisol cycle of like bad, unhealthy hormone production. It is also has a formulation. So it's a patented formula in there called Chromax. And Chromax is a combination of vitamins and minerals. One of the minerals in there is chromium. And this formulation, what it does is it actually helps to balance your blood sugars. So getting those blood sugars under in balance will also reduce your sugar, or not your sugar, your it'll reduce your cravings if you have any sort of food cravings, or the ups and downs and crashes throughout the day where you get a little bit tired. That helps to reduce that, because what that is often is our insulin levels being elevated too much. And what happens when our insulin levels are elevated for too long, we also turn off all our fat burning hormones. So if you have anybody ever like all of a sudden you're like, I am doing all the right things and I can't seem to drop a pound, it's the hormones. We need to get that insulin down because it's elevated all day long. And when it's elevated, all those hormones turn off. And so we literally can't lose weight physically, like it's a physical problem. And so this really can help with those blood sugars a little bit. So it can be considered something that might help with some weight management support as well.
So awesome. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'm going to show you guys some pictures of some of our testimonies, and because it's pretty cool when you can see the results. So I always tell people before you start, make sure you take pictures of everything.
Oh my gosh, I have to share something because it's brand
Yes.
new testimony. Okay, Benny.
Yes, I
So
want to hear it.
yesterday, my son, who's been taking the collagen since December, he is not having chronic pains, health problems of any kind, but he goes to the gym and works out heavy. And I said, this will help you with muscle recovery. It's going to help prevent injury. So I told him, you need to, so you're never too young to start taking collagen either. And so I gave it to him so that he's not going to have the same problems that we have as we get older, because we didn't know about this stuff, right? So I've been giving it to him, and he comes in the kitchen and he's got his shirt off and he's just like, he's rubbing his back in this one spot. And he's like, Mom, where's that thing? And I'm like, what do you mean that thing? He's like, that mark. I can't feel it. He had this big dark stretch mark that like literally was an indentation in his body from growing really fast. So it was about this long and about this thick across his back. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, who hurt you? Like it looked like someone like slashed him. Like it was nasty looking. But then I realized, oh my gosh, like that's a stretch mark, and he couldn't feel it. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's almost completely faded and gone. And I was like, I didn't even take a picture of it because I didn't even think about the fact that I would need to take a picture of him because he doesn't have any issues and he's got young skin. But I didn't even think. So even like if you know any teenagers that have gone through some wild growth spurts that have like some stretch marks that they're a little bit like uncomfortable with, or they feel like it's just not something they love about their body, this could potentially help them too.
I love it. There are new things every day. So here we go. Okay, so here are some photos. And on the left, this is my friend Nicole, who's one of the first people who I learned about the products from. And she was on the 3 products we talked about tonight, the Glow, the Mojo, and the Enrich for 2 weeks. And you can see the difference in her body and the way less inflammation. Here on the right is the scale of Trent, my boyfriend, who was on the Enrich. So I was like, snap a picture before you start taking it. And he changed nothing. He, besides the Enrich, and he was down about 7 or 8 pounds, and that's been consistent. Here on the left is my friend Leslie, and she took pictures of everything, including her varicose veins. And she called me after a month and she was in tears. And she was like, Penny, like they're gone. And I was like, what's gone? And she's like, my varicose veins. And she said she had to look for the freckle on her leg because she was like, wait, where did they go? They have been there her whole life. They run in her family. On the right is our friend Lori Allen. And she did something called collagen loading. So she was taking 3 doses and she was actually taking it to heal her gut, but she was like, I'll take pictures of everything. And you can see the cellulite. It looks like somebody took an iron to her bum. This is me here. As I was saying, my hair is out of control and I love it. And it has really grown when I look at pictures. I saw a picture of a year ago and it was like down to my shoulders and I could not grow it for the life of me. My nails, and this is from a surgery and it was a 2.5-year-old scar. No changes were happening. I also had a cookie burn, but I forgot to take a picture of it and it was gone within a couple of weeks and I'd had it for a year. So it really can have dramatic results. So take pictures of everything. This is my friend Beth, and she actually messaged me yesterday because somebody thought that her daughter was her sister. And she was like, this stuff's really working. And you can just see it in her face. And all of her friends, and this is only, she's been on the product since September, and her friends are just like, what are you doing? You look 10 years younger. And then this is my face here. So you can see the redness. We didn't talk about it today, but our face cream is unreal. And even my pores, I've always had big nose pores and they have gotten significantly smaller. And as Jen was saying, there are so many different testimonies coming up all the time, but we have a couple testimony groups. So whoever invited you tonight, they can add you to Ripple Effect or Change Life. And you can just search anything. So if you're dealing with stretch marks or migraines, and you can just hear what is working with for other people and getting some more ideas of the products that will work for you. And then I'm going to tell you guys how you can get your hands on these products. There's a couple different ways. So you can either get your hands on the products as an associate or as a customer. So there's really one main difference. If you get the link for an associate, you also get a website. So we were talking about this today. Do you have a favorite restaurant? Who has a favorite restaurant? I love sushi. It is our go-to. We go to this place called Shizen Sushi in Victoria. If you're in Victoria or if you visit, it's the best. I have tried every sushi restaurant, you guys. Nobody makes the best sushi as this restaurant. We send all our friends there. Maverick and I go there all the time. But when our friends go, we don't get a thank you from the restaurant for sending people. So that is like having an associate website, is that when you have results. Now, if you're like Sandra and all of a sudden you are not having to wear your shoes inside, or like Jen who shared, who can have ice cream, you're going to want to shout that from the rooftops or share with your loved ones. So now you have a website. So you're going to earn about 25 to 30% off anything that goes through your website. And then there is additional 6 other ways to earn, including incentive trips, which Jen has earned a trip to Mexico as well as myself. And this is just in a couple months. We also have a Jeep program, and in our few months here, we have several team members, including myself and Jen, who have earned the Jeep program. And I'm driving a Jeep, and I had to drive in the snow today, and she was a beast. I loved it. And then for both customers and associates, I always like to tell people how you can get the best value, which is setting up a subscription program, minus 10%, and you can change it at any time. You can turn it off at any time. And then you also get an extra 4% off when you buy 3 or more products. And then another 4% off. So a total of 8% extra with 5 or more products. So I always like to let people know that. And then the other thing when you join as an associate is you get access to these bundles, and they're only available for associates. They have a discount, and they are amazing. Jen, do you want to share which one is your favorite bundle?
Well, I'm kind of an all-in person, so the platinum is my favorite bundle. I think it's the best bundle. Best way to describe it is like if you want result, or if you were like to set up a grocery store, you wouldn't just buy into one department, right? You get it all. You'd want to be able to offer it all. You want to, I look at it and I'm like, I want enough to be able to share with my loved ones. I want to find out the results of everything. I want to learn about everything. I want to try everything, because how am I going to be able to speak on it if I don't? I'm going to have to use other people's testimonies, and I wanted my own testimonies. You get a little bit of almost everything, which is fantastic. It also has the highest savings. Wow. I also am a sucker for savings. So, if you tell me I'll buy 2, I'll get a savings, I'll buy 2, right? So I liked that. But one of my favorite features of the platinum package is you get 20 coupons to give to the first 20 people who purchase from you. So who likes to help other people save money? Not just about us, who likes to help other people save money. So you get that opportunity to give other people coupons to get an additional discount above and beyond the 10%, 14, or 18% that Benny just talked about.
And what I love is there really is a package for every budget. So let the person who invited you know if you want information about customer or associate, and they can make sure they give you all the information. The last thing I'm just going to show you, because I just love it, is our Jeep program. So this is something that is pretty phenomenal. And I'm just going to get real with you guys for a minute. Before I started with Trinont, things were a real struggle. Buying groceries has gone up. My car was on its last legs. And I have never worked for a company that pays for my car every single month. And that is, out of expenses, usually the second highest expense for a household. So it is fantastic. And not only is it my household, but it's also my partner's household. So we have 2 Jeeps getting paid for a month, which is one of the things I love, is that you can actually work with a partner. There's so many amazing things about the company and the business. We could go on and on forever. But I just really want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Please let us know if you have any questions. And is there anything else you want to add, Jen?
Cassie mentioned in there that it costs nothing to be associate. That's exactly right. It costs nothing to be an associate. You are just paying for the products that you already want. And as an associate, you get these discounted bundles, you get access to it. And maybe you're thinking like, I'm just going to start small. I will tell you that there's a large percentage of people who regret it within 30 days that they didn't get the platinum. I see a couple of people nodding, right? So there are regrets. I regret it myself. Because I actually got the bronze beauty bundle to start. And then when I decided, after I had my results at the collagen, I don't wait like I waited. Okay. I ended up, we signed on my husband, Mark, and he's my partner in business now. And we definitely went platinum for his package. So I got a second chance, luckily.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for everyone coming tonight. Thank you for those who shared their testimonies. And we just look forward to hearing more. Okay, good night, everybody.
Thank you.